afternoon, everyone. My name is Sesana, and today my partner is Yenayena and welcome to our podcast. Today's podcast will be about More Passion, written by Ken Temba.
More Passion was published in April 1953 in the Drum magazine. And today's content will cover the themes of identity, power, and control that is found in the story, and it destroys the romantic relationship happening between Linga and Mapula. And also it will cover the themes of...
It will also cover the themes of love becomes political, and the themes of the real enemy is invincible, spoiler alert, which is the apartheid system.
And then the Drum Decade is a collection of short stories that were from the 1950s, which was the apartheid era, and Sesana will give more background about that.
The background about this is that the Drum was originally from Cape Town. It covered folk tales and those kind of things, but upon moving to Johannesburg, the content of the magazine, which was named The Drum, it focused on black urban culture in Sophia Town and other areas which were designated by the apartheid system for black people, and it gave black people a voice, so yeah.
Okay, according to my understanding, I think this platform gave black authors to give their perspective of apartheid. They were able to express freely how they were treated by the apartheid laws, which included the Bantu Authority Act 68 of 1951 and other things which segregated black people.
Yes.
It made ethnicity and identity and all that.
Yeah, so the Drum particularly gave black people a voice. It gave them a voice to express themselves about apartheid in short stories, So particularly the apartheid system, the laws sometimes censored information that black people or any other information that can be published in any other platform. So it censored that information, but the Drum, it gave black people a platform to speak about the experiences that they experienced in black townships and everything through stories and everything.
Okay, like the More Passion. Well, More Passion is a story about a romantic love that is restricted. The love is between different ethnics, which is Linga, Litebele, and then
Mapula, Russia.
Okay.
Marashia, call it like that.
Okay, like that. Okay. Yeah. And then this love was restricted just because they were from different ethnicity.
Yes.
And it later turned to a tragedy.
Even though their love was restricted by ethnicity, there is no boundaries in love. There's no boundaries. So the real enemy behind everything, it was the apartheid system. The apartheid system created laws that restricted black people from moving freely in the urban areas, and such as the Group Areas Act and the Pass Law. The Group Areas Act restricted black people by their ethnicity because Hutus were put on other places, Xhosas, Zulus, where they separated us, consciously and systematically. So it created the tragedy that happens at the end of the story.
Okay, it's like a generational thing that is inherited.
Yeah.
No, okay, I get you.
Yeah, so Ken Temba's More Passion is not merely about it's not simply about the tribal hatred that black people have amongst one another. It is about how apartheid engineered division, fear, and power over the black people, and the love between Langa and Mapula becomes dangerous because apartheid special planning, such as the Group Areas Act, which separated black people from other ethnicities, Sutus on the other side, Xhosas on the other side, Vendors, Zongas on the other side. That division, that systematic division, it creates an atmosphere where love becomes a criminality act, you know. So love becomes political in this story, the way we can interpret it using the apartheid lenses.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is what destroyed Linga's love and Mapula, as there were apartheid system that oppressed them, and those apartheid system were inherited by the mob, that that the mob only knows that there need to be a division between the blacks and the Xhosas and the Sothos.
Yes.
It created a segregation that destroyed people's lives and all that. And I think that's where the power, the theme of power comes in.
Yeah.
The theme of power is portrayed in the story through patriarchy, through mob's authority, and the ethnicity difference.
Yeah.
Linga had patriarchal powers over Mapula, or had an authority over Mapula, showing that he was a patriarchal man. He acted as a protector, as a decision maker, and as an emotional guardian for Mapula, as he even taught her that a woman's role is to furnish a home rather than having her own roles or choosing what to do with herself in her own relationship. But he was taught by a man, which is patriarchy and patriarchal power. And that power was inherited from the law, that is Black Administration Act 68 of 1957, if I'm not mistaken, which made males the guardian of women. Women could not even open a bank account, they couldn't buy even a property. They first needed a male guardian to do so. Again, the mob's authority. Onto the mob's authority. The mob's authority had power over Mapula's relationship, as it even killed Linga, which was the total destruction of the relationship. And it shows that an individual's feeling it was taken as a worthless thing. The only thing that was taken serious, it was the difference of ethnicity, and it determines who people can love and cannot, and that held power over Mapula's relationship.
Yeah. For adding on that, you know, love in this short story becomes political, you know. Why am I saying that love becomes political between the two partners? They are from different ethnic groups, you know, and Mapula must not, you know, according to the tribal rules or anything like that, she must not be in a relationship with a Xhosa man, because they are the rivals, you know, they are that kind of thing. But at the same time, looking at it on the lenses of apartheid, you know, we cannot have hatred between one another without anything that controls us, you know. So the apartheid acts, the apartheid rules, the apartheid becomes an act of it becomes an act of division between black people, you know. It creates fear, it creates violence, you know. Instead of Mapula going to the train station or going somewhere to with Langa freely, they have to hide their relationship from the only black people, you know, from the black people, from their own people, because what they are doing is simply a criminal thing according to the society at that time. So
and their love becomes a total disaster. But at first, Auntie Alpheus, who was Mapula's uncle, firstly thought that he had an authority over Mapula because he was a man, which again shows patriarchal power that was in the story. He thought that he could choose a man from Mapula who he can date or cannot, as he even killed Mapula's lover, or Mapula's partner.
Yeah, so the story by Ken Temba, it shows that it did not only separate black people from white people. It separated it separated black people from within the communities, it separated people, and it gave people not the choice of choosing freely who to love. It was restricted by the rules. So here we see the theme of the enemy is invincible, as much as there's no white characters in this story.
And then onto the theme of identity, which in the story is determined by ethnicity, it is determined by the mob's expectations and also the apartheid rules. Linga and Mapula's relationship is just according to their ethnic group that made their identity. The mob's expectations is that people must take an identity as a collective instead of an individual thing that a person builds. They are making their life difficult through the ethnicity identity that they gave everyone, which is wrong. And then
you're basically saying that the apartheid government has created that within the black communities.
Yes, he created that through the spatial planning, as he was able to segregate the blacks also. He didn't just segregate the blacks from the white, he even segregated the blacks from the blacks. Like they were divided by the tribes they were in. Just like in the story whereby the Sutus were meant to love the Sutus and the Xhosas were meant to love the Xhosas. And that destroyed Lingo's relationship, as he was even killed because of that ethnicity identity. I think the individual feelings were not taken serious. It was the ethnicity identity that was taken as something worthy.
So the real enemy here is the apartheid system, even though there is no white characters on the story, the system is there, the fear is there, and the police are there everywhere they go, as Linga quotes, he says that where there should be brotherhood and love, there is bitter animation between one another in page 33. And I can say that colonization, the apartheid system, has divided African consciousness without realizing that the real enemy is the apartheid system, which is the apartheid system. Black people fight amongst one another. They're saying, "Na ke Mosotho, na ke le Russia, na ke le Tebele. I have to stand with my culture. I have to be with my culture because that's pride, But at the same time, it's not that, the systems that were created by the apartheid, they form that division between black people.
Yeah, they formed an identity that is collective. They formed a hatred that is collective based on the identity of a person, which they made an identity, they made identity about ethnicity, which is wrong, and that really oppressed the relationship between Linga and Mapula. They expected them to be loyal to their ethnicity instead of them choosing themselves and who they want to be with. Instead of choosing their love, they expected them to choose the hate and the loyalty that they were meant to have to their tribe.
And also patriarchy plays a role, as you have said, that Mapula is expected to be in love with a settlement. She's controlled by her uncles, by her fathers, to be someone who's very, who's a woman who listens to the rules, but she goes all against that, And the violence in the story, it reflects a colonized mentality where there should be unity between black people. There is separation, and they are enemies rather than recognizing that the system separates black people. So this story is a tragedy, you know. It's a tragedy that ends not because of um
It's a tragedy created by ethnicity identity. So,
yeah,
um,
because black people are like, nah, I should be with my people, and I can go in all, like all dimensions, break all the rules so that I can represent my people. But at the same time, they are not realizing that the apartheid system, they are not realizing that the acts that they were put on, that were enforced between them, has created this animosity between one another.
and then onto the theme of control. Control is shown through the mob's authority, through patriarchy, and the apartheid laws.
Yeah.
Mapula and Lingo's relationship was controlled by the mob as they had a fear, they possessed the fear over them, as they even hide when they were meeting each other, showing that the mob had power over their love. As they even killed them. Linga, who was trying to just have a relationship with them, with a woman he loved.
So ethnicity, so like ethnicity controlled who you need to love, who you wanted to love,
Yes, it controlled their
it
controlled their choices and their freedom. They weren't able to do that because of the control that was possessed by ethnicity or tribe.
Yes.
The mob tried to control also Mapula, whereby Uncle Alpheus wanted to choose for Mapula to whom to love, and he was a patriarchal man.
Yeah, he was patriarchal because you can't choose for a woman who to love,
Yeah.
She has to make her own choices, but
Uncle Alpheus tried to take that freedom from Mapula and try to control her, but Mapula takes back but Mapula in the end takes back that control by killing her uncle, just to show that she was tired and she wanted control over her life, over her choices, over her freedom, and over the mob's authority. Yeah.
But at the same time, if we look at it as like, even though she took control over her life by dating a closer man, a little man, or ending up killing her uncle, it's like there's black hatred amongst one another. We hate one another because of the systems that were put in place, without realizing that, no man, why are we hating one another? We end up doing the wrong things. The system keep on jailing us, keeps on like
jailing us without even